Imagine a super gold rush town, deep inside a scorching hot desert. The absolute richest guys in suits, Apple, Microsoft, Google, and Meta. Usually they sit in air-conditioned Wall Street offices where just stomping their feet makes the global economy tremble. But today, the scene is utterly bizarre. These trillion-dollar billionaires are sweating bullets, pushing wheelbarrows stuffed with billions in cash. They are standing in an endless line, baking under the desert sun. Just to get a sip of water and buy a shovel to dig for gold, they are literally pulling each other's hair out and brawling in the sandpit. And at the very front of the line is a man in his signature black leather jacket. He's chilling on a beach chair made of solid gold bars, casually sipping an ice-cold cola. He slowly takes off his sunglasses and says, "Stop pushing. This year's magic shovels are completely sold out. Leave your cash, go line up in the sand, and come beg me again next year." Sounds like an absurd desert survival comedy, right? No, my friends. This is the absolute reality of today's tech world. Today, we are shrinking the insanely complex multi-trillion-dollar global AI supremacy into a simple gold rush game that a 5-year-old can understand. Why is the future controlled not by the companies building top-tier AI, but by the guy selling the brains and the shovels? How did he use a 30-year crazy master plan, a suffocating ecosystem chain, and a capital game that leaves even Wall Street in awe to legally and elegantly hold humanity's tech giants by the throat? To uncover the truth behind this shocking chess game, we need a time machine. Let's go back to the tech town of the 1990s. Back then, the absolute king was a guy named Intel, and he held the ultimate weapon of the time, the CPU. If we turn chips into people, the CPU is like an old professor. He wears thick glasses and has an astronomical IQ of 200. If you ask the old professor to solve an insanely complex rocket trajectory equation, he pushes up his glasses and gives you the perfect answer in 1 second. Every single computer in town had to rely on the old professor to give orders. Because of this, Intel made a fortune and sat comfortably on the throne. But in 1993, a boy in a leather jacket named Jensen Huang opened a tiny shop in the corner of town. It was called Nvidia. Back then, he had absolutely no right to challenge the old professor's authority. He only wanted to run a humble little side hustle, making explosions and 3D anime girls look more realistic when the local nerds played video games. To draw a realistic 3D picture on a screen, a computer has to paint millions of tiny colored pixels at the exact same time. The old professor is a genius, but he has one fatal flaw. He can only do one thing at a time. What happens if you ask the old professor to color millions of pixels? He'd smash his chalk in rage and yell, "This mindless manual labor is an insult to my IQ." Then he would paint them one by one, moving at the speed of a snail. So the leather jacket guy invented a brand new species, the GPU. If the CPU is an old professor with a 200 IQ, then the GPU is 10,000 kindergartners with the IQ of a 5-year-old. If you ask these 10,000 kids to solve calculus, they will instantly burst into tears. But what if you give each of them a paintbrush and tell them to paint a single red dot on the wall? Boom. In exactly 0.01 seconds, 10,000 kids just painted a perfect Mona Lisa. This is the core secret behind Nvidia's rise: violent, brute force parallel computing. The old professor handles the complex single-line logic, while the 10,000 little kids do the insane physical labor. For the next decade or so, the leather jacket guy dominated global PC gamers by selling these kindergartners. But in the eyes of the mighty Wall Street elites, Nvidia was nothing more than a toy factory making game accessories. However, the gears of fate took a bizarre turn in the early 2000s. A massive hype wave called cryptocurrency blew into town. The villagers realized that if they made their computers do an incredibly boring, repetitive guessing game, they could mine Bitcoin out of thin air. Everyone ran to the old professor and begged him to mine crypto. But doing these mindless, repetitive math problems caused the old professor to violently cough up blood. He couldn't even mine a few coins a day. Suddenly, A clever miner noticed the 10,000 little kids playing games in the leather jacket guy's yard. Wait a minute. If we make these 10,000 kids do this mindless math at the same time, wouldn't they be 10,000 times faster than the old professor? Boom! Overnight, miners all over the world went completely insane. They rushed into stores like a horde of hungry zombies, clearing out every single Nvidia graphics card. Cards that originally cost a few $100 skyrocketed to thousands of dollars. True gamers wept in despair, staring at black screens in their bedrooms, while the leather jacket guy stared at the mountains of cash falling from the sky. And he fell into deep thought. He suddenly realized a terrifyingly massive business opportunity. This world needs to process massive amounts of data for much more than just video games. What he held in his hand wasn't just a gaming card, it was a super engine capable of devouring all future data. Faced with fast money falling from the sky, an ordinary businessman would just endlessly raise prices. But a true grandmaster had quietly forged an invisible chain many years ago. A lot of people think Nvidia has a monopoly just because they build the best chips. Wrong! The chip is just the physical form of the shovel. Even if the guy next door, like AMD, built a cheaper shovel, the leather jacket guy wouldn't panic at all. What truly forces the global tech giants to beg on their knees is a core ecosystem barrier built by the leather jacket guy called CUDA. Let's rewind to 2006. Back then, the leather jacket guy made a crazy decision that made Wall Street think he lost his mind. He realized that making 10,000 kids paint is easy, but if you want them to simulate the weather or develop future AI, you have to teach them a completely new language. So, Nvidia poured massive amounts of money into developing a software platform called CUDA. Simply put, CUDA is the exclusive magic spellbook on how to command 10,000 kids to work. At the time, investors cursed at the leather jacket guy. You sell hardware. Why are you burning money on free software? You're crazy. Nvidia's stock plummeted, but the leather jacket guy ignored the pressure and did something incredibly brilliant. He gave this magic spellbook away for free, stuffing it into the computer labs of almost every single university on Earth. Over a decade passed, those broke college students are now the elite AI programmers at the world's biggest tech companies. Their brains have been completely hardwired by CUDA. They only know how to write code using the leather jacket guy's magic spellbook. Now, even if the guy next door brings over a brand new shovel that costs half the price, these programmers will grab their heads in despair and scream, "Boss, we have no idea how to use this new shovel." It doesn't have the leather jacket guy's magic spells. If we switch, we have to rewrite tens of millions of lines of code from scratch. This is the most brilliant masterplan in business history, ecosystem monopoly. The leather jacket guy gives you free blueprints to build a skyscraper. But only after you finish building it do you realize he owns the foundation forever. Did you think it ends there? Software lock-in was only step one. The leather jacket guy's hardware network ecosystem is absolutely watertight. As AI got smarter, it needed to eat way more data than 10,000 kids could handle. It needed 100,000, even 1,000,000 kids working at the exact same time. Here's the problem. These 100,000 kids need to pass notes to each other incredibly fast. If the notes are passed too slowly, the entire computing system crashes. Competitors fought tooth and nail to finally build a decent army of kids. They were ready to go to war with Nvidia, but when they opened the door, they dropped to their knees in despair. Because in 2019, the leather jacket guy threw down $6.9 billion. He bought a company called Mellanox. This company controlled the absolute fastest, most stable information highway in the tech town. The leather jacket guy smiled and set up a toll booth right on that highway. Mellanox's high-speed tech is perfectly optimized for Nvidia's chips. But if a competitor's chip wants to drive on this highway, its computing power is severely handicapped. The result? A competitor's single chip might be very powerful, but because they can't drive on the fastest highway, they are forced to take the muddy dirt roads. Data transfer becomes as slow as a turtle. Selling a single chip is child's play. What the leather jacket guy is actually selling is an infrastructure fortress built like an impenetrable walled garden. If you think the tech monopoly is shocking enough, the leather jacket guy's moves in the capital market will make Wall Street elites applaud. In recent years, Nvidia's revenue looks so good, it makes people jealous. Their market cap has completely skyrocketed. But why did so many AI startups suddenly pop up, able to afford these insanely expensive graphics cards? Hidden inside this is a highly calculated capital loop. Nvidia set up a massive strategic investment arm, throwing money at newly founded AI startups. For example, they invest $100 million into a startup. On the surface, the leather jacket guy is a saint, supporting young entrepreneurs. But in the business world, there is no free lunch. There is a hidden, unspoken rule. I'll give you this $100 million, but you must use it to buy my Nvidia graphics cards for your data center. This creates a highly dramatic, almost comical picture. The leather jacket guy hands a stickman a bag of cash, and the stickman immediately hands the bag right back, walking away with a pile of shovels. The money goes right back into the leather jacket guy's pocket. But after this money travels through the accounting books, it not only supports Nvidia's fiercely loyal AI ecosystem, it locks in guaranteed revenue orders, making Nvidia's financial reports crush the entire industry. By using this genius capital game, Nvidia artificially created a terrifying market demand, launching its own stock price into outer space. Ecosystem, hardware, and capital all perfectly looped together. The most massive gold rush in history finally erupted. In late 2022, ChatGPT completely blew up the world. All the tech giants instantly fell into a severe computing panic. They realized, if you fall behind in AI, you will be eliminated by the era. And the only person in the world who could provide ready-to-use magic shovels was the man in the black leather jacket. The most expensive and insane computing arms race in human history began. Nvidia launched the H100 Super AI chip. According to industry analysts, the hardware manufacturing cost of this palm-sized silicon is roughly just a few $1,000s. But what is the leather jacket guy's retail price? $30,000 to $40,000 for one chip, and absolutely no discounts. What does this mean? Armed with exclusive tech and an ecosystem monopoly, Nvidia secured an insane corporate gross margin of around 75%. It's faster than robbing a bank. Mark Zuckerberg, the boss of Meta, announced he was hoarding 350,000 H100 chips. Grab a calculator. That is over $10 billion in pure cash walking out the door. Microsoft and Google even slashed budgets in other departments just to fight for these chips. In this crazy AI Hunger Games, everyone is bleeding, burning hundreds of billions of dollars to dig for gold. While the man selling the shovels sits on a throne worth over $3 trillion, watching them viciously brawl in the mud. He went from a fringe character making gaming graphics cards to completely dominating the global tech giants. Even the destination of his chips has become a strategic resource that dictates global geopolitics. Over 30 years, Jensen Huang proved a brutal business truth to the world. Do not join the endless rat race of the gold rush. Monopolize the only road leading to the gold mine and build a toll booth on it. But how long can this crazy AI dominance last? Google, Amazon, and Microsoft, the trillion-dollar giants being held hostage, will never willingly pay a 75% toll forever. They are already secretly pouring tens of billions of dollars into frantically developing their own alternative shovels, trying to break the leather jacket guy's magic blockade. A new battle for the throne of the tech town has already quietly begun beneath the dunes. While US ordinary people marvel at how realistic AI videos are and worry about AI stealing our jobs, never forget. Behind the screen, with every massive pulse of data, more wealth is added to the account of the man in the black leather jacket. This is civilization unmasked. Which company do you think will eventually break Nvidia's monopoly? Will it be an awakened tech giant or a hidden dark horse in the chip industry? Drop your thoughts in the comments. Every single comment is incredibly important to our new channel, and I will personally reply to the best ones. If you love unmasking the dirty secrets of tech giants and getting complex tech explained simply, smash that like button and subscribe to us. See you next time.